When we were little, limousines were the coolest car in Bangladesh. I remember standing in front of Baranda to look at the presidential motorcade, which had a very big, long limousine. Those days are long gone. Nowadays, limousines has been replaced with luxury SUVs and van, like this one, which is the Toyota Voxy. Now, I don't know if Toyota came with the name by combining the word van and a box, because this car does look like a box on wheels. In the front, you got some really nice tiny LED RLs, but under which there are LED headlights, and where the fog lights should be are what I can best describe as vanity mirrors. There you got some really nice wavy pattern, a very flat grille, and a blue badge signifying that this car is in fact a hybrid. It's a 1.8 liter, it makes some amount of power which is transferred to some amount of torque. On the road, that means a very comfortable ride. Now moving to the side, you got 17-inch wheels, side ORVMs with blind spot monitors, a very nice powered sliding doors with built-in privacy curtain. As we move to the back, you got a really funky looking tail light. This door does come in powered in certain version, but in this one it's not. It's just your good old manual pull tab. Now, as it is, there isn't much space, but in case you do need more space, all you have to do is pull this tab and these seats fold up and you get lots of extra space. Beside that, being a hybrid, this car has no spare tire. What you do get is a hidden compartment. So if you need to patch up your tire, there's a patch kit and an air compressor hidden over here, under which there is a 1000-volt plug, so you can use some appliance when you're picnicking with this car. Now give me a second to put this back on. It's not easy. Never mind, it is actually quite easy. With all that said, it's a very heavy door, and as we move inside, despite being a tall person, this car is relatively easy to get into. Now, being a van, the view is amazing. You get tons of viewing angles. There's virtually no blind spot, and this seat is very commanding. Makes you feel very powerful. Now, beside that, you got a digital screen in front of you, a 10-inch screen with infotainment with Android Auto and other infotainments. What's the other one? Right, Apple CarPlay. You can tell that I don't use Apple. There's a USB-C port and a normal USB port. Under this, you can use it to, you can plug it in and have the USB come out this way. That's why you can, even if you don't have wireless charging, you can pretend you have wireless charging. There's heated seat, automatic climate control, electronic parking brake. There's an EV mode. If the battery is charged enough, you can use it up to 40 to 50 kilometers. Cup holders, another flat space to put stuff in, very shallow center console, and a lots of button on the steering wheel. Being a van, there's also a lots of storage compartment. There's one here, there's an open one, there's a tiny one over here. All in all, you won't run out of place to store stuff, which in a van is a very big plus. With that said, let's move behind. Now, as we get in the second row, you can tell that most of the focus went in here. You got your automatic climate controls here, very narrow marking light, your own flat place to put in stuff, tablet, phone, you name it. There are two USB-C ports for charging that safe stuff. There's a pencil case. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 cup holders. And as I close the door, which is gonna take there's also a coat hanger for storing stuff. And if you want extra privacy over this tinted glass, you got built-in privacy curtain. And also, one thing I just noticed is there's also another 1000 volt hidden right under here in case you want to run 2 coffee machines in a van. Besides this is pretty... Oh, and also, in the front, there is an HDMI cable in case you want to run anything other than navigation in the front end 10-inch screen. Now, let's move away from this captain's seat arrangement and move to the third row, even though I really don't want to try that. Now, to get into the third row, you pull this lever and this thing falls down, then you push it back, well, in this case forward, and then get into the third row. After that, you let the third row guy figure shit out, and you pray to the God that it doesn't take too long. There's a panel here which shows me not to touch, so I won't. I'm not saying any easy way to adjust this seat, but I sure hope you can. Minus that. There's a cup holder here, and not much else. Oh, there you also get your own AC vent, so that's a plus. Overall, with this seat, pulled all the way back, I would have not much space, but enough for a few hours of trip. Okay, time to talk about how it is to drive this car. Now, unlike the other minivan-ish car we reviewed a few months back, the Sienta, I can fit in this car perfectly. Now, to start this car, you press down the brake pedal, press the power button, which in this case again turned it off. Give us a second while I restart this car. Of course, being an electric car, well, a hybrid car, there is no noise for the motors turning on. You pull off the brake, put this giant lever in D, turn the steering wheel so you don't run into a ditch, and you start moving. Now, driving this car is very much like driving a limousine. The suspension is very soft, the platform is very stable, and the car drives very gently. Even at high speed, the car accelerates very gradually so you don't feel anything. And when you do need to brake hard, you don't feel the momentum, so you don't get that across the front row. Besides that, being a soft car, it does wobble when you try to take a turn. So don't try that. Whenever you're taking a turn, do hit the brakes because the brake is very smooth. Overall, the view of the situational awareness you have with this car is amazing. You have tons of windows to look around, and if you do hit something with this car, it's your fault. I'm sorry. Besides, even then, just to give you the most amount of chances, the car does a blind spot monitoring and all other active safety features, including lane keep assist. However, if you do want to use navigation, you have to use an aftermarket like Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, as those stuff that built-in one doesn't work in this country. Now, with the sunlight almost gone and there's a thunderstorm behind us, we need to wrap this review up quick. Overall, it's one of the most comfortable vans I've ever driven. It has decent legroom, enough room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, and a very techy interior, even a bit cut down one given the trim size. Overall, if you have 50 luck and looking for a car that is not Chinese, JDM, and can sit 7 people and don't care about taking the car off-road, this is a great option. We borrowed this one from Zoom, so if you're interested, call them up. That wraps up our rapid review of this car. If you have anything to say, please comment down below. We'll try to reply to them.